Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Citizen Tech Talk and ILW episode. Guys, we're talking about theatres of war and most importantly, life in the clouds, otherwise as I like to affectionately call it, head in the clouds. Look, let's just without further ado, I'm CTT, you know me.
And I'm Image Lead the Way.
And you're in for another doozy of an episode. Alright guys, so getting straight to brass tacks, let's start you with some entertainment. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just leave Jared Huckabee to his own devices because he's just an annoying prat.
What does a producer do?
Depends on where you are.
What is it like being a producer?
Producer organizes a project so that everything goes smoothly and makes everyone's lives easier.
Is that what actually happens?
Sometimes.
Being a producer is like being a shepherd of kittens.
A lot of people say cat wrangler.
And you have to get them to a fountain of milk.
I would kind of want to use like an orchestra metaphor, I guess.
But you don't really have control over kittens, right? They all have their own personalities.
Definitely very individual people.
All you can do is just kind of shepherd them there.
I'm going first on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Never in my entire career, in my entire life, in any way, form or manner, have I had anyone in the workplace being referred to as kittens and leading kittens to a fountain of milk. Oh, shit. Kids are running CIG. By the way, producers are just otherwise known as, in any other business in the world, team leaders. They've got no operational managers in the whole business. Just team leaders. You have staff, team leaders, producers with fancy names, right? And then no one above them. Directors are your actual line managers. They're just your department managers. They're not your operational managers, right? They're not taking care of actual departmental management. They're just the head team leader, basically. There's no actual proper management structure in this business, and it's all led by kids. When a plan comes together, you go first, ILW, because, yeah, All
right, so I don't know who in the world is leading like that. When they say it's like, leading a bunch of individuals to do what they want to do and try to lead them to the milk. That would be something like somebody who's not there. So like in my work, I have a guy that's in the office while I'm in the field. He could use that analogy with me because he's not in the same building with me. He's not doing the same task with me. These guys are in the same building. There should be no, you're just off doing your own thing, but I'm trying to lead you there. It's you come in at 7 in the morning, my operations manager in charge of production. Here's your task you have to do. Boom, 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 this. And there is no, maybe you might get to the milk, maybe you don't. It's, this is what you're going to have to do, execute, and do it. So I know what I have to do when I come in the morning, and there's no leading to the milk. It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Well said. My terminology is absolute stupidity. There needs to be a new word made up for the Oxford Dictionary for the word stupidity. This is just, I'm speechless at the, yeah, let's move forward.
Planning Week is a global alignment of all teams and studios within CIG.
All of the producers and teams sort of collaborate and see what's deliverable for the quarter.
During Planning Week, you tend to talk to everyone.
There's no ever time where producers from separate teams are really going to come together and compare their schedules.
I currently work with the environment concept team,
The audio team,
In there, the producer.
the weapons feature team,
a couple of the UI teams.
the weapons content team,
Character team.
and also the props team.
So this will be my second planning week that I've done.
This is my 7th Planning Week.
Okay, I'm just going to stop there. There is no time that any of the producers actually collaborate. And you guys wonder why we're 4.5 years behind in development. Do you still believe what you've been told by CIG is the truth, guys? Just asking a question. Please pop off in the comments and please say something about that part of the video. It gets worse from here in. ILW, your turn.
I mean, there's nothing really to say. They're going to say something really. They're going to say something else, and that's what I want to go to comment. But for now, go ahead.
Producers take all the information given to them by the pipeline and pillar teams and be able to break that down so it is a global alignment, so we all share exactly the same vision of what we are going to do and what we all want to accomplish.
In a very large global company like CIG, that's a lot of time zones that you have to plan through. That's a lot of people.
So we're trying to negotiate between lots of different teams.
And how much we have to adjust based on the big picture.
It's important because you need every team to...
I'm just going to stop there. This guy has to stop smoking half an ounce of weed before he comes to work and put the clear eyes in, okay? Mate, you're off your chops. Fucking speak normally and pronunciate your words and sound like this could not understand you. Did you understand what I just said? I didn't fucking understand what I just said, and I said it.
Understand every other team's requirements.
Because you tend to get more requests than you can actually fulfill in a quarter.
Roughly 60 teams in the company, and each of them has a deliverable.
Okay, Dungeons and Dragons players on the left. That geeky, awkward kid at school that nobody likes who always had a runny nose. You got this guy in the brown jacket going, dude, I just sell drugs here. I'm not even meant to be in this room. Then you got this black guy, I'm the hitman, I'm the guy who's his bouncer, basically protects his ass, make sure the product gets to the customer. Then you've got the guy in the polka dot white, black and collared top, button to the top shirt. Mummy's boy who likes strap-on treatment. That's all I'm saying. And then you've got this guy in the orangey, burnt, rusted, red-orange jumper going, man, I'm the smartest dude in this room. I don't even need to be here. And then some git at the front with guitars in front of him going, we maybe should, I don't know. What do you guys reckon do next week? You got the blind leading the blind and children leading children. And as it was clearly said, there is no leadership structure. It is kittens and milk and fountains.
So real quick, you always see CTT talk about kids. Star Citizen is being built by kids. This is what he means. Later we might show you a video from another office, and you'll see all the guys are experienced. They're all older. The team leads are older. But also the guys working on it are experienced and older. For Star Citizen, the common concept, the common thread is younger team leads and younger developers. And everybody's real young because it's all admitted that they start with a lower pay scale, so they can only afford people newer into the business, and they can't afford anybody else except for the team leaders and the producers and the people up high. They're getting paid a good wage, but all these guys, they're all on a lower salary. That's just what I believe. But from the evidence that I've seen of talking about salaries and CIG's glass story and all that, and the salaries and all that, they say that it is an entry level starting pay. And just on the guitar, why is there a guitar in the office? What in the world, man? Do your job. Yeah. When I go into my job, when you go into your job, I don't just have leisurely time to play guitars and all this. I'm there to execute, perform, execute, produce. I don't need guitars. I don't need this Transformer logos and all this. And I'm not just crapping on CIG, even though it sounds like that. But guys, you got better stuff to do. Look how far your game is behind versus what you said it would be. So why don't we stop with all the nonsense, the guitars, putting up logos and all this nonsense all over the walls and all this garbage, and just focus on and sit down at the desk, and perform and produce, go.
Yeah. And but the guy with the kittens thing wearing a cap inside the office, does he not understand that the sun's outside, not inside the office? Just saying, you have creative types, I get it. You have young college leavers, I get it. They need to start somewhere. Not a whole office of them. That's the dumb leading the dumbest of dumb. And 4.5 years, well, here it is. Anyway, moving forward.
For the quarter.
Lots of different jigsaw pieces that we're trying to fit together to create an overall picture.
The idea is that we think about everything.
So it's not just your schedule you're accounting for, it's your schedule and this team's schedule.
She's literally wearing a college logo, but go ahead.
Director's schedule and so on and so forth.
It doesn't matter how hard or how mundane or how tedious it may be, it really helps us kind of figure out exactly what we should be focusing on.
I think.
Okay, what the fuck did he just say? Does he even know? Like, etiquette of an office anywhere in the world. You're not allowed as part of your uniform or your acceptable dress code to wear a cap in the workplace. This shows that Star Citizen, CIG, the whole thing, is not a professional project. It's not a professional workplace, and there is no incentivization like KPIs or deadlines, like usual stuff. Even Gantt charts to have these 60 different departments cross-communicate and in real time, because there is many project softwares that are free online. Okay? There's a lot of them out there, okay? And Gantt chart programs, even better. They're really sophisticated programs. They don't cost that much. And it allows the entire company over to any timeline, any given day or time, to see progress of certain people doing certain work and certain workloads and elements and project elements and so on, to know how much more work they have to do to either keep up or slow down on to not exceed the requirements of the project element component at the time. One of those programs I'm talking about is Monday. Check it out. Monday projects software, free. And it's fantastic. I do project management all the time. I was doing project management with a group not too long ago, and I used that program I can't even think of now because I don't think it's free anymore. And that was really fantastic. I can allocate leadership roles, I can allocate team roles, I can allocate, tasks to be done by certain dates, etc., so forth, and it works perfectly. These guys aren't even implementing the basics of that. It's just floating around in the clouds. Oh yeah, hi, how you going today? I'm going to play some guitar, and I'm going to go down and sit at my computer and look like I'm busy, and fuck me. 4.5 years behind, this is why. There needs to be operational leadership in place, setting KPIs, setting deadlines, and getting milestones achieved, and then reporting that to us as the backers on a monthly basis.
Real quick before you hit play.
Yep.
Just like the guy with the cap, and it might sound like we're nitpicking, but it's like a famous actor once said: "Are you professional or not?" These are the team leads. These are the people. For me, I look up to my team leads at my job. I say, "Oh, I want to be like them." So they need to set an example of professionalism, not coming in here with little kid, 10-year-old shirts on. And it sounds like we're nitpicking, but remember, these are the team leads. These are the people that I report to. Let's be professional. Why are we coming in here with caps on and little freaking kid T-shirts and all of this and jackets, long sleeve jackets with our shirt rolled up and all the other nonsense? Dude, we're not here for fashion. We're here to produce, and we're here to set an example, and we're here to make a game.
Yeah.
Be professional.
Yeah.
Be professional, so your team, the people under you respect you. Yeah, how can you respect the guy when you can barely even understand what he's saying?
Right.
Because probably his mouth is numb from freaking having his lips pierced. Not against piercings. It's not against piercings. But these are the team leads. These are the people you're looking up, and he's talking to you, and you're just like this. Look at him like that. That's how you look at him. Go ahead. Give me your best nasally him impression, and you're going to teach it me as an employee, and I'm gonna listen to you. Go ahead.
I think we give the feedback to the audience every month because just stuff, and that's my job, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going to stand here like this in the screen and just look like really professional.
Yeah, dude. Wake up. Wake up.
Look at
Wake up.
That shirt is from a kid's cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. He needs to be getting more sleep before he comes in, or stop smoking weed, or whatever you said. And this sounds like we're just railing on him. It's almost immature that I'm railing on him, but it's just being, wake up, dude. Do your job. Stop take it serious. When we speak, we have our wives coming in the room, talk about, hey, shut up. Quiet down. You're yelling. It's because we're so passionate. Show some passion. You're the producer. You're the team lead. Show some passion. Be professional. Be an example, and stop a freaking looking like you're about to go to sleep, dude.
Yeah.
You know, this is for your audience. The subscribers pay money for this. They pay money for for these shows. So have some passion, have some determination, have some professionalism, and be representative. Don't be limp-wristed and wearing your kid's shirt and all that. Grow up, dude. Wake up, grow up, be what we're supposed to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. These guys are the face, the PR face of CIG. And like Forrest, okay? Forrest in the years gone by has been the glue that's held all the senior management together in those meetings, yeah? And they've been quite interesting for the most part. In some cases, quite detrimental to, 64 gigabytes of RAM in a computer just to run Star Citizen with a 1080, just saying. But that's the thing. They dress nice. Even Aaron, with his big, huge gut he's got now, still wears a business suit. I commend Aaron for that. Okay, I don't commend him for anything else, but I do commend him for dressing the part, being the part. Or we hope being the part. Who knows anything about Squadron 42 right now, right? This kid, though, he's more worried about colour-coding his outfit than he's worried about doing his job. And he looks like he just does not want to be there. Yeah, and that's not a good look for us as the community on any age group level to be experiencing. And that thing in his lip, that should have been taken out for the shoot. That's utterly unethical and unprofessional, and it looks disgusting. I love piercings, on girls, obviously specifically, but that is just, that shouldn't be on camera. It's not the girl with the pink hair. Get rid of the lip thing. Keep the nose thing. That's fine. But get rid of the lip thing. It's grot. I hate it. And look, it wrecks your gums and it wrecks your teeth. It's just a stupid idea in the first place. All right.
It's important for the community to make sure that they're putting all the feedback onto the different forums that we've got, because during planning week is when a lot of that feedback comes down to the teams.
Something that hopefully the community is seeing, making the internal teams feel successful. Because if the internal teams feel successful, you see that direct benefit in the community as well.
Bullshit.
In our live patches, into, you have stability in what we're actually releasing. The public know exactly what's going on.
Oh, come on. You go first.
All right, so this is what I was waiting to comment on. He said, planning week is when your feedback is most influential. Your feedback should be influential all the time. But from what I'm seeing, the feedback that we're given isn't being taken, from what I'm seeing. Especially when it comes to the flight model, we gave so much feedback. There's people who's written entire documents on how to improve it. We're going to add aim assist. We're going to add where you can go top speeds so they add all this stuff that makes it worse, and they don't know how to fix it because they don't take any real feedback. They just straight up do what they want to do.
Yep.
And if the community don't like it, the community can get fucked.
3.0 since. That has been the attitude 100%. Now, Salty Mike did a video recently, Answer the Call video. This one he did this week. And he had a couple of guys on. Bad Words and a guy after him. I've forgotten his name. I do apologise to that guy in that video. Basically, he's saying that, the flight model's shit. No one wants this flight model. Put the old flight model back in. Blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, now, where ILW, you're going to argue the point where you don't need the long-distance fighter-interceptor fighting mechanic and everything's locked into 4,000 meters and, close combat, blah, blah, blah. But a far stronger majority from where I come from, especially in relation to fighters, bombers, as well as retaliators, for example, on top. So they're big bombers. They can't come in at 4,000. They've got to come in at 10,000 because otherwise the torpedoes don't lock on. You haven't got that element of surprise with stealth, especially for an eclipse. You have to, and as this guy said, Bad Words himself said in Salty Mike's video, that you need to be able to allow different people to play the game how they want and program for every one of these mechanics separately and just let it be. Don't keep trying to force people into a box that they are not going to go into. Otherwise, people simply will just stop playing the game. That was his words, not mine. But they are directly in line with my words. Because this crap, they don't listen. They just do what they want. You know, I've told you guys about the past, right? People that complained. Height maintenance, troublemaker, bitch, right? Snowflake, right? That's these kids in these offices calling you that if you've complained in past. If you put anything on the 2020, call the devs, whatever crap it is, it's the same thing. They're saying the same shit about you right now, especially those people that got their comments deleted. Okay? You do not understand that it is as toxic in these kids' offices as it is with these kids in the community, the cultists, right? There's no difference. They're the same people, just not working for CIG.
It's because, very, very simple, okay? Whether that's true or not, you can see how it could be true, because generally, as you get older, you get more mature and you show more maturity. When the people deleting the threads and interacting with the community are all young, they don't have that level of maturity that an older person has. Not saying that older people can do everything better. I'm saying it should be a balance where not every single person in the office is all college aged. It's ridiculous.
You need balance everywhere. It's like male-female balance of workplace now. Well, it should be age balance. And that is a big thing that's going on worldwide, especially in relation to age discrimination. I'm 41, and I'm hearing guys that have got 30 years experience, been working since they were kids, basically, because things were different back in our day, kids, you know, that they can't get work now. But they're the most qualified, experienced, skilled people in the country, right? Because the millennials think that they can just take it over now. The reason why our economy is so shit is because of millennials. Just, God. Anyway, moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward.
If the internal teams have been successful, you'll succeed with the public roadmap as well.
All right, guys. So let's move on to the next part. This is in relation to concepting and all of the hell that the concept devs have gone through, and to then provide Chris with exactly what he wanted, for then Chris to turn around and say, oh, no, I didn't want that at all. I don't want it at all. Get rid of it. After 18 months of working on it. Does that remind you of a story about the poor dev that did 18 months working on Armour to have Chris 2 days before it got signed off saying, nah, don't want it, start again? Chris is a bipolar sociopath, delusions of grandeur, crackhead. Anyway.
Like, I'm not really sure that I nailed it. So this was our very first take at Orison in general, and this was shipbuilders and also for the engineers. We knew that Orison would be building a lot of stuff, a lot of ships, a lot of large ships, so we're like, first we need to make sure we got the engineers. So we were kind of sticking to a little bit of bomber pilots and just World War II references, and we're like, we don't have that in the game, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And we threw it out just to Chris and all the directors see what they think, and Chris was like, no. I was like, okay.
Personally, I think that was fantastic, and it really gives it a real dirty, gritty, worn-out space station, modern era, look. It makes the people, if they're in their uniforms, look like they're from those divisions, right? And I'm from Crusader, or I'm from Microtech, or I'm from Olisar, or I'm from fucking Hurston. It shows you also where you are. Now, I've noticed myself, when I've spawned in, I've done some stuff, I've even forgot what planet I'm on until I get in my ship and take off, right? There's not really much signage around. So if you've got NPCs walking around and whatever with the actual name of the place you're in on their front, I think it's a fucking fantastic idea. Chris knocked it back because this is what Chris wanted.
About months of work being, I don't know if 18 months of work was thrown out. I can't confirm that. But what has happened is obviously days and maybe weeks of work is being thrown out. Maybe a week, day. It's sometimes days, sometimes hours. If it's going to be this micromanager level, what we'll see going forward is these characters that have all been concepted, all been drawn by hand, and these multiple pages of stuff all being thrown out. I don't know why they're going like this. If it's going to be that level, then every single day the concept team needs to, and the ship team and all the other teams need to have just one thing chosen out of saying, oh, we're going to progress going in this direction. Approve this. Approve it the day at the beginning of the day, Chris. All right, Chris, your first hour of work is to look at all the concepts, all the ship's things, and everything in development, and approve it and continue to sign off so the teams can continue moving in that direction. It shouldn't be do up all this work, write up all this stuff, do all this concept work, all this model work, all this other stuff, and then once it's all completed, after weeks, after days, whatever, then he signs off on it. Sign. If you're going to micromanage the project that much, sign off on it every day. So this doesn't happen.
You know what the good part is? Chris isn't there anymore to do that, so that's why things are good.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay. All right. Well, allegedly.
The last task we did, so phase 4, which was the civilians. And Chris was saying that, I kind of want to see a little bit of the colonial times mixed in a little bit of the 50s, before the Beatles, before the rock and roll. And so we're like, okay, all right, why don't we incorporate what we learned from the engineers and from the tour guide, and let's put that into the colonial look and mix in some of the 50s look. And so we did another key art, which is the civilians. And Chris responded to these actually pretty well. And I was super stoked, super excited. And then I showed the next image when I showed the 50s one. And he's like, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm thinking. Chris was like, yeah, we should go a little bit more on the sleek route. But
okay, let's just go back to this previous image for 1 second. Yes, Hunger Games, yes, because Chris has never had an original idea in his fucking life. Okay, this is what Chris wanted. This is specifically what Chris asked for after the upgrade from the Hunger Games to then make it Star Citizen Hunger Games. But these images here are specifically what he actually asked for. He got them. Oh, no, I didn't want that in the first place. No, I just start again. If you've never met a bipolar person in your life, or someone with delusions of grandeur, or someone with multiple personality disorder, go to your local, mental hospital and just ask a nurse to get you to talk to one of them. Chris Roberts. Who does that? Oh, and this work would have taken over a year. That's not a couple of weeks. That's over a year. Just to draw one of these people, okay, just one would take you about 3 or 4 days. Oh, maybe less. I'm not a graphic artist. God, I can't even draw a stick man properly.
I disagree, but I would say maybe a day at most. A day, probably it would take several hours of work, and we're only seeing just one of the few concepts. Obviously this guy takes these concepts and he draws full scenes and stuff with them. We have a very limited view. The point is, he should have drawn one of those and sent that at the beginning of the day to Chris and said, see this guy in the 50s. This one emulates the 50s. Before I give you a full spreadsheet of the whole character design of all these characters, let me just send you one and see if you want to go in that direction before he draws all the other rest of them.
Yeah, and Chris said, no, I want every one of them. I want to see what they all look like. What kind of narcissistic prick does that? Anyway.
The 50s one, and he's like, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm thinking. Chris was like, yeah, we should go a little bit more.
I think that looks mad. I think that looks mad. For civilians, NPCs, that looks mad. I love it.
I think
we're still going to be maintaining a lot of the high tech.
All right, blah, 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 blah. Let's move on to the next part of the video, the important part of the video. Theaters of War, their CitizenCon follow-up. So we're not going to worry about showing you video and stuff. We're just going to go through it. If you haven't watched the video, it's extremely painful to watch. We have found some pretty massive lies from Sean himself to have Jared actually correct him and pull him back, further demonstrating the power struggle from my CitizenCon 2949 video, proving beyond reasonable doubt that there is a serious power struggle between those two. Banging heads like goats, yeah? Or walruses or whatever. So, mate, what were your takeaways from the CitizenCon follow-up for Theaters of War?
Well, my main takeaway is there's a lot of stuff that they wanted to do, and they're not able to do any of it like they want to do it because the tech isn't where it needs to be, and so much tech is built upon other tech. We're going to get into it, but one of the first examples that come to mind is the horde mode or the survival mode for Star Marine. They can't implement that because the AI, the infantry AI, when they walk, it isn't up to the level that they need it to be to implement hordes. So there's a lot of stuff that they need to do. I honestly see from the talks, Theaters of War, from what was talked about CitizenCon of when we would have it, it's already being pushed back. It's going to be another Star Marine situation. This isn't saying, oh, let me step back. It's probably going to be another Star Marine situation where they say it'll be out by March, and again 2 years later, it finally drops.
Basically, since 3.0, we've had an artificial 250 millisecond lag put in, or delay put in, where it allows people on slower connections, slower PCs, potato PCs, and so on and so forth to balance out the servers to obviously get some gameplay experience with, rubber banding and all that usual fun stuff with SC servers, because they're the archive servers from Lumberyard, not actual, everyday servers. All other games, though, are standardising at 100 milliseconds, and that's using artificial lag as well. So why are these other games using 100 milliseconds while in alpha, by the way, and Star Citizen is using 250? Because the servers are shit. 30 FPS, a decent frame rate when 60 is the standard now. Now, we've worked out together that PlanetSide 2 is 30 frames average, but it's only running at about 50 to 60 milliseconds artificial lag. But there is massive clutter and choker of their servers at times where you get down to 1 and 2 frames. Moving forward from there, new tech called rewind time was brought up, and this allows for dynamic ping delay between 250 milliseconds and 120 milliseconds, allowing for the servers to tune your gameplay experience in real time, dependent on your connection and the server side loads as well. They're getting there, I guess. That's good. They're doing something about bringing you closer to the server. That's good. Rewind time, it sounds like another name for we're just trying to implement some form of SSOCS at this stage as a very much preliminary beginning to it, but we still don't have any idea of how to really bring the rest in. Oh yeah, looking up tightening server delays down to 50, 100 milliseconds at most. That's in concept phase, so 5-6 years before we get that. Sean Tracy, is there anything you've got to say about any of this stuff yet?
No, you can keep going.
Cool. All right, now this is funny, because this is where the third Jared Huckabee issue popped up with Sean. Sean Tracy, next release should have a bunch of stuff. Jared Huckabee. Huckabee, I call him Huckabee. No, it won't. In quick succession, further providing the power struggle from CitizenCon 2019, as I said before. No idea of when Theaters of War will actually come out, 4 to 4x something, definitely not 3.9. Jared Huckabee's words. Bot mode for the Good Doctor for Star Marine was going ahead, but conveniently Theaters of War got in the way. AI isn't freaking working. It's not going to work. No survival mode is possible, let alone have AI not get stuck in a wall, let alone, from pictures of past sucking each other off. So, yeah, Star Marine is just a shithole dead thing in the water. Arena Command is a shithole dead thing in the water. And Theaters of War is going to also be just a clusterfuck of shithole in the water when it comes out. Now, lie number 1. Sean Tracy, not far from that at all, the Good Doctor Star Marine being finished as we speak, but focusing on Theaters of War instead. Bullshit. Just blatant bullshit at that. It wasn't even, a giggle. It was just a blatant, to the camera, fucking lie. And Jared Huckabee just sat there and didn't do anything about it. Right? So they're both hit on it. Neither are better than each other.
Hold on, let me say something real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
So here's why the Good Doctor and they're having the problems. It's because currently the FPS AI isn't where they need it to be, and they know it's where they need it to be. I guess you can look at the AI missions where you can only engage a certain amount at a time. Their pathfinding isn't what the AI pathfinding isn't where it needs to be. A lot of the stuff on that side isn't where it needs to be. That's why when we have a new mode, it's player versus player only mode. They can't make the same mode players versus AI because the AI wouldn't pathfind correctly. It's not where it needs to be correctly. They just need to come out and say that. They say, hey, here's the reason it's not implemented. Our AI, it's in development, but they constantly shift the goalposts onto something else. So you're not focusing on that. Just say it how it is, man. You're making updates to the AI. I think there was like roadmap changes. Last one, AI pathfinding on the planets. The AI is in a bad shape. I mean, you can see it where they're standing on chairs and all the rest of it. It's just in a really bad shape. They can't get it into a good shape because they can't expand on it because their server frames per second gets too low, and that causes the AI to bug out. So they can't improve it like they need to improve it because of all these other reasons. You know, they say it's building blocks. Because the foundation is bad, they can't build upon it like they need to build it, and everything's being held up by everything else.
SSICS and server meshing. Just saying. Okay, you didn't hear anything then, did you? No, I didn't hear anything either. Okay, alleged current development on track for Theatres of War. Although we're 4 years behind the project, Theatres of War is on track. My left and right butt cheek. Yeah? Bullshit. Sean Tracy, only thing that's holding up Theatres of War is now spawn points. Really? Major lie number 2, CitizenCon 2019. Out of 280 test players who play Theatres of War, only 220 actually filled out the survey. They got a really good example of how most players will adopt Theatres of War and that everyone is going to love it when it comes out. For a sample of 220 cultists to give you an expansive projection of how over 2 freaking million people are going to be responsive to it? Come on! That's just got the horse blinkers on. Just lead them to the slaughterhouse, yeah? We're not stupid, CIG. We know it's going to be trash. People play it for a few weeks, get over it real quick. And it will get boring very fucking quick. And then that's it. What next? Nothing for another 4 years.
It's good for, I think, from previous experiences that when they implement 1.0 version, when it comes out, it's going to be bad. There's going to be all different types of delays. Spawn's not going to work. There's going to be bugs everywhere. It's going to be straight garbage. What did it be good for? This is what it'd be good for. It's if you have a large org and you want to do a private host on these maps of your org versus your other org versus the teams, that's where this is going to excel, and that's where this is mostly going to be played. Like the same thing that Star Marine is. You log into Star Marine and you can only find 1 or 2 or 3 players that are playing with, and then when you find new players in a different match, it's just the same players from the previous match because there's only 2 or 3 people playing. And Arena Commander, Star Marine, it's all suffering from that. Theatres of War is going to be played in the beginning months, 1 or 2 or 3 months, with players with a large influx of players. I know I'll be playing it. CTT, he will play it when it first comes out, but we're not going to play it for more than a few months. And then after that, you're not going to be able to find games. The only place you're going to be able to get players is through large orgs who have the player count to fill the 50-player requirement.
Yep. Flight nights, etc. And most orgs don't even have 50 people on at the same time for flight night. Anyway, these days, the word's gone around, guys. Some good news. Dun, dun, dun. There's some good news about Star Citizen. Holy shit. People actually beginning to complain on Spectrum, but to no avail, with CIG not responding, but at least acknowledging that the complaints have grown exponentially in a very short period of time. At least they're acknowledging we're cracking the shits now in very large droves. That's 1 step forward, 10 steps back. Massive lie number 3. Sean Tracy, we're still on track for SC. We're not behind by any stretch of the imagination. The project is freaking 4 years at least. I'm saying 4.5 years at least behind schedule. Why lie about that? Destructible environments, my Unreal Engine 4 video before we partnered up, just everything about the Unreal Engine 4, destructible environments, everything. This is what they're doing with the CryEngine now is really, really elementary, old school, very simplified way of doing what our Unreal Engine does natively as part of the engine, as part of just the base physics of the program. Destructible environments to add to drama. 2D only destructible pre-programmed chunks will separate, and no physics real-time 3D modeling will be achieved, unlike an Unreal Engine 4 where it's done in real time. If you want to watch that video, please watch it because it's really educational and informative as well. So in simple preset chunks, blow off and not what you were actually shooting at. So if you're shooting at part of a wall, about 3 meters to the right, that bit's going to snap off the wall. It's going to look shit. Some good news is, though, so the good news is that 2D destructible environments will be masked with 3D animations in some situations. I'd say ships, when they blow up, give more immersive feel.
I'm going to speak real quick. So, destructible environments. Here's what's realistic about it. It'll be the same type of thing that PlanetSide 2 implements, because full persistence and destructible environments aren't two things that go hand in hand with each other. The reason Battlefield has destructible environments the way it does, because each time the round ends, you start up a new round, the whole map's reset. But if everything's persistent, then if there's real destructible environments, then everything will be just destroyed. Within the first few weeks, every single building you come across would be in ruins. Everything would be destroyed. It's a PlanetSide 2 level of destructible environments, where some small things can be destroyed and then they eventually get fixed after, 10 minutes of not being touched. It goes back to the way it was. The power generators, they automatically come back online after a certain amount. When you see destructible environments, expect an MMO level of destructible environments. Don't expect Battlefield level, or you're going to be very, very disappointed, because they can't do both. It's one or the other. Persistence or destructible environments. You can't do both.
Yeah, totally agree. And the physics we'll get to in a second. One more piece of good news, sadly only one. Theaters War has now upgraded to a new map based on Planet Tech 4, so nicer environments and higher textures and surfaces to work with, much more realistic than ever before. So that's something that's nice for about the 2% of people that will be looking. Okay, and massive lie number 4. This is the one that really irked me, and I think it's an inside joke at CIG since February of last year, and it's leaked out on multiple videos where Sean and Jared have said this little catchphrase, and just, next time you watch a Star Citizen video, listen for this. It'll come up at some stage. Physics being worked on by Chris. That's been around since 2017, by the way. Sean Tracy says that. So, no Chris on the project anymore to do it. Yeah? Also, this began in early 2018. The whole line about Chris working on physics, so it's a lie, been going on for a very long time, as I said, into 2017, when Chris actually was meant to be actually doing it for real. And it seems to be an eternal catchphrase, running joke in CIG now. It's basically the staff are telling you that Chris isn't there anymore, and, Chris will fix it. Chris doesn't fix things, he breaks things. And yeah, this is my major gripe about it, mate. An hour and 7 minutes for the video with nearly 34 minutes of actual content. The other, literally half of the video was them talking shop like they're at the pub having a beer. None of it had any context. The Chris thing was line number 4, I will say, in the latter part of that video. So they weren't expecting people to still be watching. But then you've got people like YouTubers who are really serious about this game coming out, and the shortcomings and the good stuff, which I've just spoken about good stuff, didn't I?
Yeah.
So you can't fault me there, guys. And that's the thing, 33 to 34 minutes of that video was actual content driven, and the last was just shit talk and then dropping the Chris joke. Yeah? But these are 4 massive, blatant lies thrown at you into your face through these videos, and this is just one video I'm talking about, let alone kittens and milk and fountains and baseball caps and stoners. All I'm going to say is, in conclusion, from my standpoint, Yours may be different, mate, but mine is we are in a holding pattern with the entire development moving forward for at least 4 years to catch up. And then we're still going to be 4 years behind still, obviously. The snake eating its own tail. CIG cat and mouse lawsuit is holding up the entire project as the case of Squadron 42. An undeniable breach of contract impending if Squadron 42 is released. Therefore, SC as well in situ will also be taken by Crytek and the banks. In the meantime, the entire project gets shut down. Hundreds of millions are lost for backers and fraud cases for Kristen, Sandy and Aaron and whoever else is involved. Theatres of War is a complete bloody utter waste of time and will not be played by the masses for very long, and 4 massive and blatant lies in the bloody video. Jared and Sean power struggle continues. Sean, you're the boss, I just work here. That's Jared Huckabee. Silence. This is it.
Animosity. There is animosity and passive aggression between both of them.
Thank you.
And you can see the frustration of Scene trying to tell us in a way that doesn't seem obvious, that the narrative is not what it seems with Star Citizen, Quadrant 42, and CIG, and that Chris is still in charge using the physics rewrite as a running joke only a few of us in the audience have picked up on. Those are his words. Those are my words. Yeah.
So, look, I think the smoke and mirrors thing, those of that are listening, right, those of that are actually not brainwashed, those of us that are wanting to still have the game come out but be responsible and adult enough to push the point, drive the point home to the audience to say, hey, look what we found in one of their videos, just one or 2 of their videos in this episode. Guys, I think it's time we start overheating the project and CIG as a community. We want to start justifying that argument to you guys over the next 12 months, and hopefully over 12 months' time we can demonstrate to you enough of a reason for you to actually support putting together a community council with people from the community who are elected by the community, not by a small minority, and those people being the main lead proponents of complaint passed on by the community to them, to have them push that forward on the spectrum as a single line of communication to the rest, to CIG themselves. Then if we don't get results, we don't get feedback, we don't get our stuff listened to, and our issue council that we run, and the pressure council, obviously at the same time, we're not getting those responses to them, then you guys are going to see for yourself how they just aren't listening, because it's a combined effort, and then we all are going through one group of people who are leading that charge for us, and then we will know for a fact if CIG are listening or not, because there's only going to be a group of maybe 5 to 10 people who are going to be in that leadership team, not myself included. I don't have that responsibility, that council, to say, hey, no, we didn't get a response back on this and that and that and that and that. And I know there are people out there in the community who would happily take up that charge, and it comes down to democratic voting and making sure that none of the Scythians get in, because we don't want to have drama. We want to have transparency and proper adult communication moving forward. But give us 12 months, guys. Give us 12 months to prove to you that everything you're being told, about 12% of it is the truth, and the rest is just fluff and lies. Anyway, that's me. ILW, far away.
All right, well, we'll have another video coming up in the future about lawsuits, about fraud. You know, Citizen Technol is very adamant that CIG can be sued for fraud and have a class action lawsuit against them for fraud, that they've lied, and, you know, how the project being shut down and all the backer money is being lost. I'm coming from a different point of view from that, but because I guess because I live in America, so I know of American laws, and I'm very well versed in that. And he's very well versed in Australian law, which is admittedly very pro-consumer, very pro-refund, but it's different. It's different. But from what I've realized is, once we get into that subject of that, is just because you live in Australia and the company's in America, that company doesn't have to follow American law. If they give it to Australian consumers, then they must follow the Australian law. They must follow the laws in that country. Just because American law doesn't supersede Australian law, it doesn't. I was the main proprietor of that. Me and him had a lot of back and forth, and I think Squadron 42. I think it's going to be in a bad place. I think it's going to be, they say, oh, beta. I think Squadron 42 is going to be in beta for quite a long time, because I think some of the AI and the infrastructure that they need for Squadron 42 isn't quite there yet, and it's going to be buggy, and it's going to be broken, and there's going to be a lot of work that's going to need to be done on it in order for it to be released. We might have a bare minimum viable product for Squadron 42, but I think it's going to be very buggy for a very long time, and the beta is going to last a long time, and there's going to be a lot of bug fixing happen on that before it's released.
Yeah, totally spot on. That we do agree on without question. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I just want to add it on to the end of this. I encourage anybody that has anything to say, any counterpoints to anything that he said, to go ahead and go into the video and comment. And this is back from the previous video. I had a interaction with two communities. I had an interaction with this unnamed community. What it all was about, because I want to go ahead and break this down real quick. It'll only take 5 minutes. What it was all about is this person was very adamant that if you bought a ship using store credit, when you refunded the ship, you did not get what you paid for. Instead, you got whatever the war bond price is. So there's a website that says the war bond price and the buy for credit price. And he was so adamant. Me and this guy is supposed to be a leader of information and supposed to teach everybody. He's constantly in his Discord to teach anybody that comes in. And I'm like, dude, you're giving the people the wrong information. That's not the case. You get back what you paid for it. If you paid $200 for the ship in credit, when you refund the ship, you get $200. You don't get whatever the war bond price was, because the war bond's also. He's like, no, you get the war bond price. There's other people that say this. There's other people. I said, look, dude, I can go and I'll share my screen and prove all this. Oh, well, you can't prove it. You just got to take my word for it. Why would I lie? Why would I lie about it? And I have other people that can say this. Here, I'll go talk to them right now. All right, we'll bring me with you, and we'll both talk to them. No, only I can talk to them, so I can go in there and misrepresent what you say, and then come back and talk about how wrong you are. All right, versus System TED Talk. When we did, he said, oh, service message can't work. And then there was another video of it. They've broken the law and all this. And I said, hey, look, what you're referencing is Australian law, or on PlanetSide 2 has already done this. And then we can actually have a discussion about it. The other guy, when I brought all this up, because for both communities, I didn't come in hostile, but I came in disagreeing. I disagreed with CTT right from the jump. I disagree. This is why I disagree. We'll have a whole discussion about it. And we ended up having a discussion, became channel partners. The other guy, there was no discussion. It was closed down, and I was banned from the server permanently, because everybody has to understand this. People that are fans of this show, fans from another show, they don't have to disagree with you. They don't have to agree with you. They're allowed to disagree. And if you disagree with CTT, if you disagree with me, we will engage you. Just tell us what we'll have. We'll bring you on the show if you disagree. If you disagree, let us know. Put it in the comments what you disagree about. If you say, hey, man, these guys are way too harsh on these guys, tell us that we were too harsh. Tell us what you disagree about, and we'll engage. This community here, us two, it's about engagement. And it's not about us being right. We will have an hour-long debate with you. If you believe you're right and we'll believe you're right. What's important is that you're willing to change your opinion, or you're willing to take in for information. If you're going to be pig-headed and any disagreement that is brought forth, you're going to want with, oh, well, I'll just hang up and run. Because me and him disagree, we never get upset with each other. We never raise our voice at each other. He says Chris Roberts kicked off the project. I said he's not, but we don't we just respectfully disagree with each other, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's how civil discourse is supposed to be. Not attacking his family. Not, oh, I'm going to come after him. Oh, he says this. He says, the guys look like he smokes weed. He's against anti-CIG. Go get him. We're not about that. Open communication. That's what we're about.
Yeah. Fantastic. Beautiful rebuttal, mate. End of the day, guys, we're breaking the mold. And we are breaking down both sides of the Red Sea for all of us to meet in the middle. If you choose to stay on either side and drown, that's your future with your Star Citizen experience. if you want to learn, you want to be enlightened in some respects, and in other respects, you might be able to bring something to the table that we don't know either. That
you can enlighten us.
Yes.
You can enlighten us.
Right?
Go ahead and enlighten us. We encourage it. Go ahead.
Yes, because knowledge is power, right? Wisdom comes with knowledge, and to be wise is to be knowledgeful, not to be high IQ, not to say that you know everything in the world, but the more knowledge you partake in receiving and sharing, the more enlightened and educated you are. Now, mainstream education, schooling, is not a good analogy for that, nor is university anymore. What I'm trying to say is there is nothing wrong with sharing information that you believe is correct. If you can bring something to us and prove that you're right, we will more than happily correct ourselves and get on camera with you, right, in the middle here between us, and we will both sides apologise to you. Yeah, and we'll make a big giggle of it and have fun with it and shit, you were right, we were wrong. Thank you so much for bringing it to our attention. Now the broader community, you guys also know that this is correct and this is something we got wrong. One thing I want to be proved wrong is SSOCS and server meshing specifically. SSOCS, well, I agree it's going to happen, just, time. But server meshing, if someone can, computer scientists can please come on here and prove me wrong, I freaking hell, I'll be the happiest guy alive, I swear to God. And that's the thing, guys, it's not being assholes, it's not about being right, it's just about the truth and how much it sucks to have the truth found and shared. I don't have to share this truth with you. I've been holding this truth for years now. I was holding the truth about CIG and the organisation org being the cult. And, well, shit, what happened? It all fell apart as soon as I did the video. Guys, and I've got a big ass list of people in the community that are real serious troublemakers. And they know who they are, and yes, Montoya, you're at the top. But that's the thing, guys, I'm not here to pull it down, rip it apart. I'm here to work with ILW to show you guys that Star Citizen will happen if we get together and we as a group, a team, a class action, right, sit together, elect some officials for us within our community who then take on our complaints, communication needs and whens and get answers. And if not getting answers, then we can look at, obviously, more further action down the track. But give us 12 months, as I said, to prove that. Let us show you it's possible to put pressure on these guys and get the results we want, because this is our Star Citizen. This is our universe. And we're going to be moving forward after a couple more videos of this stuff onto your universe episodes. This is your universe. And that's going to be the series, and it's going to go on for a bloody long time because we've got so much crap to cover on that. Stuff, not crap. Anyway, that's me. I'm CTT.
And I'm eventually the way. But before I go out, okay, what he said was, please engage with us. I've had somebody say that server meshing has been implemented already, but not in a game. It's been implemented in this other thing. Please, if you know somebody, if you know of a channel, if you know of a person who is knowledgeable in this, please reach out to us in the comments, and we'll respond. We'll get you in the Discord. We'll get that person in the Discord, and we'll have a whole discussion about it.
Yeah.
Please reach out.
All right. Well, as per usual, and you got to call yourself out.
Yep. And I am Infantry Lead the Way, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Marshall. All right, guys. As per usual, as always, peace out. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.